If you've been scrolling through endless rows of 86-inch screens, watching the specs jump from 4K UHD to 500 nits and then wondering which one actually makes sense for your space, you're not alone. I've spent the last week comparing a handful of professional-grade Signage displays, digging into the fine print, and even chatting with a couple of facility managers who've already installed big-screen solutions. The goal here is simple: cut through the hype and tell you whether the BenQ ST8602S Pro Smart Signage is the right fit, or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of environment this screen is built for. The ST8602S is an 86-inch 4K panel that runs on Android 8, comes with BenQ's Xsign software and a full-featured digital media server pre-installed. In practice, that means you can plug the unit into your network, upload a playlist, and let the screen run on its own without needing a separate PC or media player. For a corporate lobby that needs a looping welcome video, a retail aisle that wants to showcase product promos, or a university hallway displaying event calendars, that all-in-one approach can shave a lot of time and hardware cost. Now, the first thing many people worry about is brightness. At 400 nits, the ST8602S is bright enough to look crisp in typical indoor lighting, but it won't dominate a sunlit atrium. If your installation is behind large windows or in a space with direct overhead lighting, you might notice a slight washout on the darker parts of your content. In my own test setup, a conference room with overhead fluorescence and a few side windows, the image stayed vivid for most marketing videos, but fine text could benefit from a higher contrast setting. So, if you're planning to mount this in a venue that gets a lot of natural light, you may need to consider supplemental shading or a brighter display. The Android 8 operating system is another trade-off. It's not the newest version, but it's stable and has been around long enough that most of the major Signage apps still support it. The built-in Xsign platform gives you a drag-and-drop interface for playlists, scheduling, and remote monitoring, which is a huge plus if you don't have an IT team that wants to maintain a custom Android build. On the flip side, you won't get the very latest Google Play updates, and some newer apps that require Android 10 or higher simply won't install. If your content strategy relies on cutting-edge AR overlays or the newest interactive widgets, you'll probably hit a wall. One of the less obvious strengths is the OPS slot. That's a dedicated slot for optional processing modules, letting you add extra storage or a specialized decoder without opening the chassis. In a real-world scenario, a museum could use the slot to install a 4TB SSD for high-resolution video archives, keeping the playback smooth even when the playlist is massive. The downside is that the slot is proprietary. You have to buy BenQ's own modules, which can be pricier than off-the-shelf alternatives. Support is another area where BenQ tries to differentiate itself. The 3-year on-site warranty means a technician will come to your location if the panel develops a hardware fault, rather than you shipping it back and waiting weeks. For businesses that can't afford downtime, that's a solid safety net. It does, however, add to the overall cost of ownership, and you'll need to verify that the on-site service is available in your region before you commit. So, who should actually consider buying this sign? If you run a mid-size corporate campus, a chain of retail stores, or an educational institution with multiple indoor wayfinding points, the ST8602S gives you a large canvas with enough pixel density to make text-sharp and images pop. The integrated Android OS and Xsign software mean you can roll out content centrally, update playlists on the fly, and keep the hardware footprint minimal. The OPS slot and the included DMS also make it easier to scale. You can start with a single unit and add more as your network grows, without having to re-engineer the whole system. Who might want to skip it? Small businesses on a shoestring budget, pop-up events that only need a temporary screen, or any outdoor installation where you need 500 nits or more to combat sunlight. Also, if you're looking for a truly interactive experience, touch input, motion sensors, or the latest AI-driven content personalization, you'll find the BenQ offering fairly static. It does the job of displaying high-resolution video and static graphics well, but it isn't built for deep interactivity. Let's get practical about the day-to-day operation. Plug the unit into power, connect it to your LAN, and you're basically done. The on-screen menu walks you through network configuration, and once you're online, you can access the Xsign dashboard from any browser. Updating a playlist is as easy as dragging a new video file into the web interface. The display pulls the file over the network and queues it for playback within minutes. In a test where I swapped out a 30-second promo,